Randy, for those people that don't know you, let's give a brief history about what you did in the military space program.
Sure. Well, I'm a captain, United States Marine Corps Special Section, which is the covert military space program arm of the Marine Corps, which was formed in about the 1954 timeframe by President Dwight D. Eisenhower as response to his lack of cooperation that he was getting from the MJ-12 committee. So in the late 1960s, they were developing a augmented soldier program to build soldiers genetically from the ground up, which I was in a program in the late 1960s called Project Moonshadow. So I was genetically engineered from the ground up, tinkered with some extraterrestrial hybridized DNA to, be smarter, faster, stronger for soldiering abilities. Was trained as a toddler through adolescence, teenage years, deployed when I was 17 years old for a 20-year tour of duty where I spent a little over 17 years in the MDF, which is the Mars Defense Force, which is a contracting agency that works for the Mars Colony Corporation, which is under the umbrella of the ICC, or the International Corporate Conglomerate. I was in the infantry there on the ground, mostly scuffling with indigenous reptoids and indigenous insectoids territorially, mostly really to test military equipment. And then at the end of that period, I was given a promotion, got to go to flight school, and finished out my 20-year tour as a pilot in an air wing aboard the EDF SS Nautilus, which stands for Earth Defense Force Starship Nautilus, which is basically an aircraft carrier in space, patrolling the solar system to keep, interlopers out.
Luna Operations Command. A couple of times, like on the way out, on the way back, certainly during the training period, it was a place that we went back and forth to a few times. It's a big place. It's big, and it's been there since they probably broke ground on it, like in 1953, 1954, something like that. So it's been there forever. One of the things that I thought was the most fascinating about it was how, depending on the part of the complex that you're in, you could really feel like you're walking through time, walking from one end to the other, because you might be at a part that was built in 1955. The doors, tile clocks, the signs over the doors, the light switches, the desks are from 1955. Like, there's all this old materials in some places. They have not replaced or upgraded in some locations. So you literally feel like you're walking into almost like a historical set from a World War II movie because of all the sort of World War II era, 1940s, 50s kind of materials. And then as you move along to different areas, you can get to all these different upgrades of building materials, 60s, 70s. I remember walking down the hallway to the administration section and noticing that it was the same yellow wall paint, the same yellow carpet that was in my doctor's office when I was in the 70s, with the same pleather chairs, whether they're that mustard yellow color, right? Same stuff. The carpet was all ratty and had holes in it and totally needed to be torn up and replaced, but nah, they weren't gonna spend money on that part. But then you get to like one of the advanced medical sections, and then it's like you're in 2055, and you've walked from 1945 to the future just because of when something was built. No upgrading whatsoever, and you could walk through a number of departments and feel like you've just walked through time to get from one end to the other. That's what trips me out sort of about it. It's a trippy place, but it's huge. It's I couldn't tell you how many levels, how many square feet, how many miles, deep, wide. But it's big because it's been built and expanded on over the decades. It just keeps bigger and bigger.
But what was it like to be out in deep space?
It is the most gorgeous thing ever. If you've ever been far out from light bleed, out in the middle of nowhere, super, super clear skies. Zion National Park, probably one of the places on the planet that has some of the clearest, starriest skies. And I've had people tell me being out in the middle of the ocean, on a calm ocean in the middle of the night, is very similar because the stars reflecting off of space make it feel like you are completely surrounded by stars. So if you think about what a starry night sky looks like in that clear, away from the city light bleed looks like, which is full of stars. Imagine even more full of stars because you're actually outside the atmosphere. You actually get farther away from the sun, and those stars get even brighter, and so you see even more stars. So when you're out in space, what you notice is if you turn everything off and you're in the dark, so to speak, nothing of the kind. You are lit up in a sea of stars. I mean, you could read a book by it. It's that bright when you're out there. The power goes out. I can whip out the emergency manual and hold it up to the window, and I can read by starlight. It's also not confusing because we're in the arm of the galaxy. All right, and so the band of the Milky Way galaxy that goes across the sky when you're looking up from the sky. Well, when you're in space, that's not a band that arcs across the sky. It's a circle that goes all the way around you, and it is in the horizon position because of where we are in the arm. So when you're out there in space, you look up and there's the northern stars, and you look down and there's the southern stars, and then all around you are the constellations. It's like clock position. How space people navigated in space forever, right? So when you're out there, you can look in any direction and know pretty much where you are, where you're going. There's no sense of I'm lost, where am I? It's dark, I don't know what's happening. It is absolutely the most visible, beautiful, gorgeous, easy to figure out where you are. And again, that horizon point, that up and down thing, all of a sudden, because you think as a pilot on the ground, oh, when I'm out in space, there's not going to be an up or a down. Yeah, there's totally an up and a down, and it's the horizon line of the galaxy that goes around you in that band. It's a circle that goes all the way around you, and you're never above or below that horizon point because you'd have to above or below the galaxy line to get out of that. And any direction you go, you're not getting outside of that horizon line, so that horizon is a constant. You have to leave the galaxy for that ring around you, that horizon point, to disappear. When you're out there and it's totally dark and it's totally quiet and the engine hum turns off and the electrical hum turns off and there's nothing in radio going on in your ear, space makes music. There is a musical sound that it makes. And I am told by extraterrestrials who understand this a bit better than I do that if you become really familiar and psionically attuned to hear that sound, you can navigate by it. That it actually will tell you which directions you want to go by which music you follow. But anyway, when you're out there really quiet and it's really dark, you can hear it. It is like background. I've heard people say it's like angels singing. It kind of is. I mean, it's really just this amazing music that's kind of indescribable.